Emeka odumegu ojoukwu, A Life in Review. Emeka odumegu ojoukwu was a prominent Nigerian military officer and politician, best known for his role in the Nigerian Civil War. Here's a comprehensive overview of his life. Early life and education, birth and family. Born on November 4, 1933, in Zungeru, Nigeria, Ojukwu was the son of a prominent Igbo businessman and traditional ruler. Education. He attended prestigious schools, including King's College Lagos and the University of Oxford, where he studied history. Military career, Nigerian Army. Ojukwu joined the Nigerian Army and rose through the ranks, eventually becoming a lieutenant colonel, governor of Eastern Region. In 1966, he was appointed military governor of the Eastern Region of Nigeria. Declaration of Biafra, Nigerian Civil War. The 1966 coup d'etat and subsequent tensions between the Igbo-dominated Eastern Region and the Hausa-dominated North led to a breakdown in Nigerian unity. Biafra. In 1967, Ojukwu declared the Eastern Region an independent state, known as Biafra. He justified this decision by citing the marginalization of the Igbo people and the threat of genocide. Leadership of Biafra, war effort. Ojukwu led Biafra throughout the Nigerian Civil War, which lasted from 1967 to 1970. Despite facing overwhelming odds, Biafra fought a valiant but ultimately unsuccessful struggle for independence. Challenges. The war was marked by severe hardship, famine, and the loss of countless lives. Ojukwu faced criticism for his handling of the conflict, including accusations of human rights abuses. Exile and return. Defeat of Biafra. After the defeat of Biafra in 1970, Ojukwu went into exile in Ivory Coast. Returned to Nigeria. He returned to Nigeria in 1982, following a presidential pardon. Political activities. Post-exile, Ojukwu remained active in Nigerian politics, founding the All Progressives Grand Alliance (APGA) party. Presidential aspirant, he ran for president in 2003 and 2007 but was unsuccessful. Death and legacy. Passing away. Ojukwu died on November 26, 2011, at the age of 78. Legacy. His legacy remains controversial. Some view him as a hero who fought for the rights of the Igbo people, while others criticize his actions for leading to a devastating conflict. Would you like to know more about in Nigerian history? Emeka odumegu ojoukwu was a prominent Nigerian military officer and politician who played a pivotal role in the country's history, particularly during the Nigerian Civil War. Born in 1933, he served as the military governor of the Eastern Region of Nigeria and later declared the region an independent state, known as Biafra. Key points about Ojukwu. Military career. Ojukwu had a successful military career, serving in the Nigerian Army and attaining the rank of lieutenant colonel, governor of Eastern Region. In 1966, he was appointed military governor of the Eastern Region, a predominantly Igbo-speaking region. Declaration of Biafra. Following the Nigerian Civil War and the perceived marginalization of the Igbo people, Ojukwu declared the Eastern Region independent as the Republic of Biafra in 1967. Leadership of Biafra. Ojukwu led Biafra throughout the Nigerian Civil War, which lasted from 1967 to 1970. Despite facing overwhelming odds, Biafra fought a valiant but ultimately unsuccessful struggle for independence. Exile and return. After the defeat of Biafra, Ojukwu went into exile in Ivory Coast. He later returned to Nigeria in 1982, following a presidential pardon. Controversies and legacy. Ojukwu remains a controversial figure in Nigerian history. His decision to declare Biafra and his leadership during the Civil War have been both praised and criticized. Some view him as a hero who fought for the rights of the Igbo people, while others criticize his actions for leading to a devastating conflict that resulted in significant loss of life. Despite the controversies surrounding his life, Ojukwu's legacy continues to be debated and discussed in Nigeria. His role in the Nigerian Civil War and his impact on the country's history are still subjects of scholarly research and public discourse. War, 1967 to 1970. The Nigerian Civil War was a devastating conflict that pitted the federal government of Nigeria against the secessionist state of Biafra. It was a period of great hardship, loss of life, and lasting trauma for the country. Causes of the war: political and economic tensions. The war was rooted in deep-seated political and economic tensions between the northern and southern regions of Nigeria. The northern region, which was predominantly Muslim and Hausa Fulani, held a dominant position in the federal government. The southern region, particularly the Igbo-dominated Eastern Region, felt marginalized and discriminated against. Coup d'etat. The 1966 coup d'etat, which led to the killing of many Igbo officers, further exacerbated tensions between the regions. The Igbo people, who felt targeted and threatened, began to agitate for secession. Declaration of Biafra, Eastern Region. In 1967, the military governor of the Eastern Region, Emeka Ojukwu, declared the region an independent state, known as Biafra. He justified this decision by citing the marginalization of the Igbo people and the threat of genocide. War and its consequences. Conflict. The Nigerian Civil War lasted from 1967 to 1970. It was a brutal and bloody conflict that involved both conventional and guerrilla warfare. Humanitarian crisis. The war led to a devastating humanitarian crisis, with widespread famine, disease, and displacement of people. The Biafran blockade, imposed by the federal government, caused severe food shortages and resulted in the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people, particularly children. End of the war. The federal government eventually defeated Biafra in 1970, and the country was reunited. However, the war left a deep scar on Nigeria, and its consequences are still felt today. Legacy of the war. Divisions. The Nigerian Civil War exacerbated existing divisions between the different ethnic groups in the country. It also led to a sense of distrust and resentment among many Nigerians. Economic impact. The war had a devastating impact on Nigeria's economy. It destroyed infrastructure, disrupted trade, and caused widespread poverty. Reconciliation. In the years following the war, Nigeria has made efforts to reconcile its people and heal the wounds of the past. However, the scars of the conflict remain, and there are still challenges to achieving lasting peace and unity. Would you like to know more about a specific aspect of the war? 1967 to 1970 was a devastating conflict that was rooted in a complex interplay of political, economic, and social factors. Here are some of the key causes. Political factors. Regional dominance. The northern region of Nigeria, which was predominantly Muslim and Hausa Fulani, held a dominant position in the federal government. This dominance was seen as unfair and discriminatory by the southern region, particularly the Igbo-dominated eastern region. Coup d'etat. The 1966 coup d'etat, which led to the killing of many Igbo officers, further exacerbated tensions between the regions. The Igbo people, who felt targeted and threatened, began to agitate for secession. Marginalization. The Igbo people felt marginalized and discriminated against by the federal government. They believed that their region was not being given a fair share of resources or political power. Economic factors. Resource allocation. The discovery of oil in the eastern region in the early 1960s led to a dispute over the distribution of oil revenues. The federal government argued that the revenues belonged to the entire country, while the eastern region claimed that they should be used primarily for the development of the region. Economic disparity. There were significant economic disparities between the northern and southern regions of Nigeria. The northern region was primarily agrarian, while the southern region was more industrialized. This disparity contributed to feelings of resentment and inequality. Social factors. Ethnic tensions. There were long-standing ethnic tensions between the Igbo people and other ethnic groups in Nigeria, particularly the Hausa Fulani. These tensions were exacerbated by the political and economic factors mentioned above. Cultural differences. The different ethnic groups in Nigeria had distinct cultural and religious traditions. These differences contributed to a sense of otherness and division. In summary, the Nigerian Civil War was a complex conflict with multiple causes. The political, economic, and social factors mentioned above all played a role in the outbreak of the war.